got a good question from Dave here, and I'm really excited about this one because I know exactly how he feels. He says that he recently got promoted to blue belt a few months ago, and he wants to compete, but he's really nervous about competing because he's new to the rank and he's worried he's going to get smashed. And he said that he's seen where there's been blue belts that have been training for like half a decade. So he's wondering if he should go ahead and compete or if he should maybe wait a little bit and sort of get seasoned at that belt. Dave, first off, thanks for the question, but I think you know what I'm going to say. I think you know what I'm going to say as far as competing goes. But let me give you some ideas and something to think about, at least from my own experience, as to why I'm going to say that. I was exactly where you were back in 2004. I was a new blue belt. I had just come back from a knee surgery, right? Been training for about a month up to this point, and I was getting ready for my first blue belt tournament. And I was super nervous. In fact, I was sending messages back and forth with my buddy in California who's like training in the Mecca in the United States of Jiu-Jitsu, where there's all kinds of black belts running around. And here in the Midwest, like purple belts were what you would see most of the time at tournaments and, train with. And so I'm like, man, I'm so nervous about it. He's like, it's just a belt, But again, just like me and just like you, seems like it's a little bit more than that, and the reason I think that it is because you're probably in the same boat that I was, which is where when I came into the gym and I started training with blue belts beat the brakes off me. And it was hard for me to wrap my head around, like, I'm a blue belt now. And I tell this to some of my purple belts, right? Like, when I came into the gym and when they came into the gym, purple belts were untouchable. You couldn't touch a purple belt. Those dudes were bad. And now you're one of those dudes. And sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around that fact. And so, Dave, you might be in that same boat. Now, my first tournament, just to tell you how this whole thing went down, I was so nervous that when I locked up with the person, right, locked up in their gi, I still remember this day, I still remember it in my mind. I locked up with the dude, and I looked at him, and I remember thinking, what now? Literally, my mind went completely blank. I had a brain fart because I was so nervous. I've been competing forever, but for some reason, I'm a blue belt, and I'm so nervous about it. I end up losing the match by points. I get up, I storm off the mat. I used to be a really sore loser at this point, and I was like cussing my instructor, telling him I wasn't ready, and he was just coming over there to give me some critiques on the match. I sit down and I'm sulking, and at this point, like I said, I wouldn't talk to people for hours after a match. I'm just sitting over and sulking. I kind of calmed down. I was like, okay, let me dust myself off, and let's get ready for this thing, right? Because I had some more matches that I could do afterwards. So I get back out there and compete in another division, right, in the gi, because they had basically an absolute division where we could compete. So they had the gi, and then anybody that wanted to could sign up for the absolute division. I signed up for the absolute division and went through there and tore through it, took second in the gi. And I was kind of like, okay, well, I did pretty well for myself. I took second in the absolute in the gi, for blue belt. And so, again, I'm just saying this because I know what it feels like to be nervous, because I was there as a blue belt. I was super nervous. But you can't really figure out how good you are, David, until you put yourself into uncomfortable positions, right? You're going to be nervous. You're going to be scared. But there's always going to be some other situation besides blue belt or whatever where you're going to be scared in jiu-jitsu, where you're going to be kind of nervous, right? But you just got to say, okay, well, fuck it. Let's jump in, right? Let's just do it. And I mean, if you think about it, you don't have anything to lose, right? One, you'll probably surprise yourself by how well you do, just like I did as a blue belt, because I didn't feel ready, but I was competing because my coach told me I should, and I stepped off the mat. I was really angry, and then later on I came back and competed and did really well, and I was surprised by how well I did. Sometimes you sort of step up to the occasion, which I did in that particular tournament. And so what I would say to you, David, is just step out there, do it, right? The worst thing that happens is that you figure out that you need to make some critiques to your game to improve. The best thing that happens is that you figure out that there's more in you than you think there is, and you do much better than what you're expecting. So, Dave, thanks for the question, brother, and I'll talk to you guys next time.